What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'll admit it, I am a big fan of tracking calories. I find this is the best method to understand portion sizes, create a calorie deficit, and then subsequently lose body fat. But let's face it, not everyone wants to spend hours upon hours analysing data out of MyFitnessPal. For data nerds like me, I love it, but I totally understand it's not for everyone. Now, if you're one of those gents looking to shed body fat without tracking calories, this video is for you. I'm going to share 4 effective ways to achieve precisely that. So, let's crack on. Tip number 1, be satisfied, not stuffed. Now, this one's pretty obvious, but it's surprising how often it's overlooked. Trust me, this can be an absolute game changer when it comes to reducing your calorie intake. When eating, if you eat a little slower and actually pay attention to your hunger cues, most people would be able to reduce their portion size by 15 to 20%. You know, how often do you wolf down your food and then 10 minutes later you feel bloated and even sometimes you feel sick? This is because you've eaten far too much. If you eat clean and maintain a high protein intake, you can pretty much guarantee that you can eat and eat and eat until you are satisfied and be nowhere near your calorie limit for the day. And even better, you've not had to track anything. The bottom line is eat until you're no longer hungry, not until you're stuffed. Tip number 2 is don't eat just for the sake of eating. Understanding when you're genuinely hungry is the key to weight loss without calorie tracking. We've had the staple breakfast, lunch and dinner and sometimes even supper rammed down our throats since we were kids. This now means we feel like we need to eat 4 meals a day, and that simply isn't true. I often tell people that I practice intermittent fasting, but to be honest, that's not really the case. I just don't get hungry until later in the day. I've never really been a breakfast person. It takes a while for my stomach to wake up. So don't waste your calories on food you don't want at a time when you don't want to eat. You can also incorporate a tip that I use with my daughter called the apple test. If you're craving something sweet, something like chocolate or a biscuit or some ice cream, ask yourself if you'd be as satisfied with an apple. If the answer is no, then you're not hungry, you're just craving some junk food. Those junk food snacks will quickly add up. You know, you might be doing everything right with your diet, but those extra 500 to 600 calories from the junk food could be the difference between a calorie deficit and a calorie surplus. Tip number 3 is, are you hungry or bored? Now, this seems obvious, but if you're not aware that you're doing this, then it's a real game changer when it comes to losing weight. If you eat out of boredom rather than hunger, you're going to struggle. Now, obviously this sounds like a no-brainer, but it's a habit that I've struggled with in the past. When we eat out of boredom, we're often not paying attention to our body's actual hunger signals, and that can lead to a lot of unnecessary calories. So, how do we tackle this? First off, we need to know the difference between hunger and boredom. When you feel that rumble in your stomach, that's your body telling you it needs fuel. That is when you're hungry. But if you find yourself wandering into the kitchen and opening the fridge out of habit, you're just bored or maybe even stressed. It's time to redirect that energy. Now personally, I find it helps to take a great big drink of water and then go for a walk. Sometimes our bodies can send signals that we interpret as hunger when we're actually thirsty. So before reaching for a snack, grab a glass of water and see if that does the trick. If not, get your trainers on and go for a walk. By keeping your mind engaged, you'll be less likely to turn to unnecessary snacking. Tip number 4 is the food is fuel method. Now, this tip isn't for everyone. Some will find this boring and need much more variety in their diet. But during my initial weight loss, I ate the same thing every single day for a few months. This meant that I only had to track the calories once. Then I could prep and forget all the tedious tracking. Now obviously this method requires some meal planning, but it's highly effective and simplifies the process of losing weight without counting calories. So when I did this, I knew that I needed 2,000 calories a day and I was aiming for 100 grams of protein. So I planned the perfect day in MyFitnessPal. It hit those calories and macros perfectly. I then ate this every single day for 3 months. If you can't eat the same thing every single day, then plan 2 or 3 perfect days and swap them around to keep things interesting. Another alternative is to create predefined meals with known calorie counts and rotate them. This allows you to create a system which eliminates having to track your calories every single day. You essentially just do it once at the beginning, you build up a meal database, and then you crack on with the rest of your day. I've used some of these, or a combination of some of these, at various stages during my journey to lose 70 pounds, and it's proof that you can achieve weight loss without needing to count every single calorie. Implement these tips and you will see real results. If you found this video helpful, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell for even more content exactly like this. Check out this next video to continue on your weight loss journey, and thanks for joining me today. I'll see you in the next one. Bearded Iron out.